Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome aboard the Max Afterburner podcast, brought to you by the No Fallen Heroes Project. Man, a lot going on that we have to talk about. Let's go Top Gun options first. This coming week, Thursday at 1 p.m., we are launching our newest training and trading service. And this one, it's going to blow you away. It's options on futures. The futures world is... I'm an equity options guy, right? But you can teach an old dog new tricks. The futures market is so interesting. Different rules, regulations, which are actually a little bit more advantageous in some areas than equity options, as I'm learning. But at 1 o'clock on Thursday, we're launching a new options on futures service. I'm going to have a brief with Jeff Tompkins from Altos Capital, great dude, and also Nell Sloan from Capital Trading Group in Chicago, CTG. Knew about CTG when I was up in Chicago. And all you need to do to learn about our options on future service is to head to go.topgunoptions.com/futures. Pretty self-explanatory. Go.topgunoptions.com/futures. Now, have been looking to do this for a while, and this is definitely a God moment. Well, all moments are God moments when you think about it, but here's what I'm getting at. This is a more godly moment. Well, I'm going to let Nell tell you the background, the genesis of us working with CTG. Tragedy into triumph. Okay, Nell wants to support the No Fallen Heroes Foundation, and she's going to tell you why on Thursday. I'll let her do that. But here's what's really cool is, since they're a broker-dealer, regulated, and with Uncle Sam and all that type of stuff, they can do managed accounts. There is going to be auto trading, right? So with Jeff firing out the futures trades and stuff like that, if you want to put it on autopilot and say, hey, just trade what Jeff says, you can do that through CTG. And she's offering penny type of commissions type of stuff. And as we'll brief on Thursday, I can't get, since I'm an unregistered entity and there ain't no gray, right? It's only black or white in the financial industry. Gray gets you into trouble. Black and white. Here's what's cool. Since Top Gun Options can't make a dime off of referring people, now checked with compliance and all the regulators and stuff like that, she can make donations to the No Fallen Heroes Foundation to help save and change the lives of veterans, first responders, and their families. So humbled and honored because Nell heard about us, and again, I'll let Nell explain why on Thursday. But not only can you learn how to trade futures, and Jeff's got a great track record, he'll brief you on that. But not only can you potentially make money trading options on futures, you can help put the ladder down and save and change the lives of veterans, first responders, and their families. Really have to, hit this again. I know I hit this often, but it really, really, really feels that we are at an inflection point, folks. It's bad. It's really bad out there. This week you just can't make this shit up. The FBI director sitting in front of Congress, it doesn't get any more, first of all, it doesn't get any more July 4th-ish, right? July 4th, a federal judge ruled that the Federal Bureau of Investigation colluded with social media companies to suppress speech. It doesn't get any, Benjamin, get the musket. It doesn't get any more anti-American. A Gestapo arm of the government suppressing the speech of its citizens, folks. The judge in this case used the words Orwellian from 1984. Hopefully you read this in school growing up, because it's coming true. Although in school today we're reading about Johnny has two daddies, and Johnny's two daddies can also be two mommies at the same time. So maybe you didn't read 1984, but folks, it's happening. It's going on. And then seeing Christopher Wray testify in front of, it's a disgrace. The FBI is above the law, answers to nobody, hiding the Biden criminal family. It's just an absolute disgrace. The laptop, the Coke in the White House, you name it, man, it's over with right? We are losing the sense and soul of this country. It's sad, right? Once great, we had a good run, man. If you're a student of history and you know history at all, and you look at the history of republics, we're about there, man. We're losing overseas wars. Did you see the NATO summit this week? Zelensky, before he even gets to the NATO's summit, Zelensky rips NATO to shreds. I need to be a member, and you guys suck, and I need more. Seriously. And I'm an idiot, right? So Senator Lindsey Graham, Republican, war hawk, hasn't met a war he hasn't liked, demanding, all these guys demanding Ukraine be immediately allowed into NATO. I'm an idiot, right? South Jersey, South Philly, political science major, not the sharpest tool in the shed. Ukraine joins NATO. Ukraine's at war with Russia. Ukraine invokes Article 5. We're all at war with Russia. Somebody help me with that, right? And obviously this week, Mumbles McShitty Pants did say, oh, wow, we can't let Ukraine in right now because they're at war, and then we're all at war. I'm like, okay. But just the petulance of this guy, right? I'm scrounging tooth and nail to get donations to take our veterans wounded serving this country in bullshit wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Nice job, George. George Jr., weapons of mass destruction, invade Iraq. Hundreds of thousands of Iraqi innocent civilians dead. You want to talk about a war criminal? I loved John Kerry the other day. I think it was 2 weeks ago. He was in Paris and getting interviewed by some French guy who it was awesome because he was given his standard prepared, Putin evil, war criminal, this and that. And the guy's like, how about you in Iraq, dude? And he was completely caught off guard, right? To be questioned. You can't question me on that narrative. Other people commit war crimes. We don't. Did you see this week that Joe Biden has approved cluster munitions? I've dropped cluster munitions, not in anger, in training. They are a horrific weapon, right? This canister opens and it spreads bomblets over, you program, football field, smaller, whatever dispersion of these bomblets you want, right? The problem with all these little bomblets is they're mil-spec, right? Good old Raytheon and whoever makes the CBU, the cluster bombs, a lot of them don't explode, man. What happens years later? Kids out playing soccer. Oh, look, here's a little ball. We kick it, blow up. Now we have no legs. That happens. A year-ish ago, Peppermint Patty, whatever that lady's name, Joe Biden's press secretary, said the use of cluster munitions by Russia in Syria was a war crime. This week, Joe Biden said he's sending cluster munitions to Ukraine. Not a war crime. Is this sinking in with anybody? Do you give a shit about the hypocrisy and what's going on in this country and in this world? Other people do bad. It's a war crime. We do bad. It's okay. You good with that? That's the country you want to live in and the leaders you have. Why do we have to send them cluster munitions, Whiz? Because we're out of ammo. So Mumbles McShitty Pants said the quiet part out loud this week when he told the world we're out of ammo, which means, he said they're out of ammo, which means we're out of ammo. I briefed you a year ago. There was I forget the admiral in Virginia Beach, kind of not necessarily an off-the-cuff remark. The guy was telling the truth. He's like, next 6 months to a year, we're gonna have to make a choice, man. We're running skosh here on WEPs, and the media just ignored it. This now, 6 months, a year later, however long ago that was, the dude was right. We're out of ammo, folks. Joe Biden told the world we're out of ammo, so now we're gonna send cluster munitions that used to be a war crime, but they aren't anymore. The world, the United States, is at an inflection point. We are rotting to the core. Saw driving into the studio or this morning, Joe Biden got smacked down at the Supreme Court a couple weeks ago about his student loan thing, right? He's not a king. With this pen, I'm wiping out $750 billion in debt that people agreed to take on. I think it's probably illegal. Remember that? He's the chief law enforcement of the United States. When the guy got inaugurated, he raised his right hand. I swear to support and defend the Constitution. Wrong. The dude, an attorney, even said that out loud again. The guy's got no filter. It's probably illegal, but, we'll let it get to the Supreme Court. It got to the Supreme Court. He lost. What do you do today? Well, I'm going to wipe out X amount of billions of dollars in debt, like babies. Folks, are you paying attention? Octogenarian, and of course, leaving the NATO summit, he fell up the stairs again. Dude doesn't even know where he is. Did you see the video with him with King Charles? King Charles ain't no spring chicken. He's having to lead Joe Biden around. Joe Biden's like hanging on the guy. But we got to remain in power no matter what. Same party that elected a brain dead human being to be the United States Senator in Pennsylvania. Right? Biden, Fetterman, 24. It's a no-brainer. So what do we do? Where are we going, man? Sounded like Axl Rose right there. But folks, what do? We need to heal. Can we come back from this, right? Back on the end of a republic thing. Whether it's Rome, the British Empire, you'd go through empires, man. We're doing it. We can't win. We're not winning overseas wars. We're printing ourselves into... You can't even fathom the amount of debt that we're currently in. We can't pay the interest on our debt. You allowed to run your house like that? You allowed to spool up your HP printer and just go, brrr. I'm dying to sneak into a Fed conference with Jerome Powell. Mr. Powell, you sat on a 60 Minutes interview and you said you just make money out of thin air, right? You print money sometimes and ship it to Federal Reserve banks, and other times you just make it digitally. You hit enter on your laptop and money appears. Yeah. Can I have some? Why don't you do that for all the Americans that owe taxes? Again, political science major, South Jersey, South Philadelphia. I don't get it because I'm an idiot, but that's where we are. So we're printing ourselves into oblivion. Our military is a hollow shell. Did you see what happened last night? Kind of a little subtle news release from the White House. You ready for this? 3,000 members of the IRR, the Individual Ready Reserve. You know who these people are? They did their time. They did their time in the reserves, and they're just sitting in the background, just hanging. They are the reserve to the reserve to the reserve. Joe Biden last night mobilized 3,000 of them out of the blue. So people who thought they were absolutely out and done with the military just got an email last night that said, you are mobilized. For what, Whiz? Operation OAR, right? Operation Atlantic Resolve. Joe Biden just mobilized 3,000 IRRists to go to Europe. You paying attention? Right? It's like John F. Kennedy. Yeah, we're just going to send some advisors into Vietnam, Mr. President. He got word that a ton of them were getting killed, and he's like, pull them out, get all. Did you see RFK's interview with, who was it, Joe Rogan? I'd vote for RFK, man. I'd vote for RFK over Donald Trump in a heartbeat, and Joe Biden. 3-4 weeks after Kennedy told the CIA, I'm going to smash you in the pieces, and he told the generals, get out of Vietnam, he was gone. He was executed. I absolutely agree with RFK that the CIA killed John F. Kennedy. No, that couldn't have. Did you not watch Christopher Wray's testimony yesterday? Our government agencies are above reproach. They report to no one. Fucking Republicans in the House just beating their chests, and they do nothing. They are cowards. They do nothing. They do nothing but speak. So anyway, back to the end of our republic. So losing wars, printing money, and then obviously just domestically, politically, right? Let me just be brutally honest, folks. I really don't give a shit what you do behind closed doors. Go crazy. Literally go crazy. What you do outside of closed doors, especially in front of children, I'm going to have a problem with it, okay? And especially with people that can't accept themselves, right? And this is all leading towards the medicine, trust me, because it sounds like I need a tune-up, doesn't it? It does. God, in my opinion, and again, all these podcasts, man, clearly my opinion, not fact, not anything. It's whiz, but I'm telling you, in my experience, God, creator, source, divine, truth, whatever word you want to use, man. If the word God turns you off, maybe reflect on that. But God does not make imperfect things. Period. Your soul, when it was created, talk about magic. I don't even want to go down the path of abortion or any of that stuff. It's just, it drives me insane. But the moment that life is created, you can't even, I'm that nerd, right? I sit here and I watch that, how the universe works or whatever. It's like 10 seasons, man. I watch that over and over again. You just can't even fathom I was going to say magic. How about miracle? The miracle of life, right? But I'll leave that all behind because half of you probably just got pissed, which is something to reflect on, right? But anyway, I think everybody is made absolutely perfect, right? So for people to demand that I accept them for who they're not, or who I'm not even going to get into the Rubik's Cube of spinning stuff because I just can't follow some things that go on politically because it just doesn't make sense to me, right? But I just bring that up in the sense of it's another check in the block of a republic that ends, right? I can't believe that feminism in this country got so far advanced that dudes are better than women at everything now. That doesn't even register to me. And the feminists are quiet because they're terrified that they'll get canceled. By whom? 0.01% of the population? For centuries, they're going to talk about the epic implosion of Bud Light. Step one, when you're in a crisis, CEO, former CIA dude, the CEO of Bud is a CIA operative. Weird. When in a hole, cease digging. The dude just can't. First of all, the board needs to go. The CEO needs to go. Whoever takes command needs to look into the camera and go, we fucked up. Here's what we did wrong. And it ain't going to happen again. And we're going to get back to making beer. They destroyed 100 and whatever, 50, I don't even know, over a century brand with stupidity, right? Catering to 0.01% of the population. So another check in the block towards an end of a republic, because I don't know how we meet back. Dudes pretending to be women can play in women's sport and destroy the women. Okay. How do you meet in the middle on something like that, right? I was saw in the news yesterday, I think it was a transgender cyclist. The dude or the lady, whatever, sorry, don't want to misgender somebody's. He, she, it won the race on purpose to point out how awful the transgender stuff is, because this individual, I'll say individual, is correct. It's like, hey, man, we need our own division. How about man, woman, and question mark or whatever they label it. Why not do it like that? So I actually support that. That was nice. Good for you. I support whatever that person is saying. Did you see that MMA fighter? That was a dude pretending to be a woman, went in and almost killed a real woman. So I'm at a loss for where we are politically in this country. We have a king with a stroke of a pen that just kind of does whatever he wants and says, sue me, take it to the Supreme Court. And then when it goes to the Supreme Court, he's like, we're going to do something else. Show me the way back. I got a promise for you. You don't have to show me the way back. I need to show you the way back. And it is healing. Okay. And I'll be the first one to tell you right now, there is a shitload of rust building up on me right now. Cause this is half 25-minute podcast so far of a raging ego. Old me would not recognize that. New me can step outside and go, dude, might need a little bit of a tune-up. Because I get a little frustrated as to where we are. I get a lot frustrated when I see a dude demanding more money from the United States to kill more human beings. I get it, man. His country was invaded. Fuck yeah. Fight this and that. But it's a meat grinder now. Okay, dude, 500 days or whatever, we're into this. You're kind of at the place where we started this, where you and the Russians sat in a room and said, all right, I think this is okay. Let's stop before it gets worse. And then Mumbles McShitty Pants, Kamala, General Milley, Secretary Austin, and all their brothers and sisters in the defense industry pulled you aside and said, nah, dude, you can win this. Here's a fuck ton of cash. Ukraine is the most corrupt country in Europe. Joe Biden's son, for fuck's sake. Burisma, what are we doing? What are we doing? And now at this point, it's a sunk cost, right? Now we can't lose, right? Because, we lose, quote unquote. Russia wins. Now NATO's weakened, and China and Israel, Iran, boom. Wasn't our fight, folks. Was not our fight. So this dude's demanding billions and billions more and cluster bombs to kill and commit war crimes when I can't even raise donations for our foundation. We got Republican, Dan Crenshaw, Congressman Luttrell doing some good work putting in the NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act, $75 million, or I forget what the dollar amount was for, psychedelic research and blah, blah, blah. $75 million. I think I Googled that. I think we spend that in 3 minutes. The federal government. I forget what I forget. Google it. How much the federal government spends in a minute. The federal government can find this in their couch. Priorities, folks. And if you're one of those people sitting there well, can't we do both? The answer is clearly fucking no. How many times have you heard the government say oh, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can care about multiple things. The fuck you can. Tens of billions of dollars, Ukraine war, death, destruction, bringing us to the brink of World War III, by the way. And $75 million for psychedelic. Steve Cohen, I have a call with the Cohen Veterans Network. I was the Mets player of the game for those guys. I'm looking forward to them because Stevie Cohen is putting his own money where his mouth. What's his name? The guy just flew out of my head. The Ford shoes. What's his name? Just flew out of my head. $100 million to the psychedelic space. So the rich, thank God, in this country are starting to throw, not starting, they've already been doing it, but recently these are two big names. The shoe dude and Axe, Bobby Axelrod, right, from Billions. Uncle Sam, we're busy, Whiz. We're busy turning young men on the other side of the planet into hair, teeth, and eyeballs. That's our priority. Fuck you and your veterans. 22, 44, you pick a number of you. Kill yourselves every day? Pfft, sorry. We did a fantastic job turning you into a killing machine, and we did a horrible job letting you back into the civilian world. But sorry, we have other priorities right now. War is good for business. President Edward Matthew Buckley, first thing I'd sign is, as an admiral or a general in the United States military, you are prohibited from 10 years after your retirement from working, consulting, even breathing in the defense sector. You want to see how quickly we clean some of this shit up? Second executive order as president. From me to my vice president, to my Secretary of Defense, to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, to the Senate, to the House, to their staffers, all of us are getting our health care from the VA. You want to see how fucking quick the VA gets cleaned up? Can you tell me why our elected leaders are too good to receive their health care from the Veterans Administration? I forget what the quote is in front of the VA building. It's like an Abraham Lincoln quote about, we have to care. It's a load of shit. And we got private organizations like No Fallen Heroes or Heroic Hearts or heroic path to light, and we're scrounging, folks. You go on the No Fallen Heroes Foundation website, you click on apply for a healing grant. When I get an email and I read these healing grant requests, man, I probably could knock the rust off, because I haven't seen a request for a healing grant that wasn't first of all, an immediate need for help, but also a holy shit, man. And when veterans, first responders, or family members are applying for these healing grants, guess what? It's a healing grant because they ain't doing too good. And I'm doing my best to put the ladder down, but it's clearly I guess my best isn't good enough, and it can be a lot, folks. If you can, I'm begging you, man, go to the No Fallen Heroes Foundation site, $5, $10, $15, whatever it is, folks. And we're going to try, obviously, to heal our heroes at home, whether it's in Austin, Texas, Colorado, and Oregon, doing some good work. And again, I'm telling you, man, 6 to 12 months ish. We got to manifest, man. We got to manifest 6 to 12 months, MDMA being rescheduled for therapeutic use. Nothing like a massive fuck up under the Reagan administration, the knee-jerk reaction, the war on drugs. Unelected bureaucrat in the Reagan administration in 1985 with a pen made MDMA, which wasn't hurting anybody. Don't give me any of that bull. All that turned out to be a lie, by the way. It rots your brain. Here's brain scans of holes. Those were all lies. Do your research, folks. Now, clearly, you do MDMA 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It ain't going to be healthy. Don't give me any of your bullshit, folks. Do the research on MDMA. I've done the research on MDMA. I was in Denver weeks ago. I talked to Rick Doblin. I talked to a guy who was in. You ready for this? They're doing phase 3 trials, MAPS. We're here, right? This will blow you away. This is science. This ain't anecdotal. This ain't Whiz lying on his back in Costa Rica. This is science. Rick's like, dude, wait till you see the results. Veterans diagnosed with horrific PTS. Got to drop the D. It's an injury. It's not a disorder. Veterans with PTS. He's like, Whiz, not 10, like, 20, not even 50, which would be, any of those numbers would be a gift from God. He's like 100%. He's like, you will be blown away by the numbers of veterans in this clinical trial that have 0 PTS after treatment. Did you hear me? 0. His eye, he's lit up. I have tears in my eyes. How much better of a country do you think we would be if we all healed, tried to heal, attempted to heal? If you know me well enough by now, you know, and I say this often, old me would have swam across the Atlantic by now with a knife in my mouth to kill as many Russians as possible. That dude died on the floor of a home in Mexico. It's a soul, ladies and gentlemen. It's another human being. It's you. Again, how the universe works, nerd. We are, you, me, everybody listening to this podcast is nothing but cosmic stardust. The exact same cosmic stardust that started with something a billion times smaller than the tip of the pin with, you ready for this? Infinite mass. You can't, your brain doesn't work. You can't process that, folks. And in a blinding flash, all of that is all of this. We are all one. The idea of separation, that's sin, right? Now I'm channeling my A Course in Miracles. Incredible, folks. On YouTube, Figure out what today's Julian date is, 152 or something like that, and YouTube that. A Course in Miracles, 152. Each day that goes by, 153. Listen to A Course in Miracles. We have this idea as humans that we are separate from each other, separate from our source, and nothing could be further from the truth. And when I feel like this raging ego and this hurt, this is when I have to give it up. That's exactly what they tell you to do, man. Give it up to the Holy Spirit in these type of moments. You give it up to the Holy Spirit. And I know intuitively, even though it might not sound like it, I know intuitively after doing this work for years that everything will work out exactly how it's supposed to. But everything is okay. Everything is okay. Might not sound like it, but even in those darkest moments, everything is okay. And when you do feel a little clueless, right? Jesus, take the wheel at times like this. So the medicine work is not without its lows, right? And I wasn't going to say darkness. There is no such thing as darkness. Darkness, ladies and gentlemen, does not exist in light. Any darkness, you shine some light on it, it's gone, right? And I get it. I can feel quote unquote dark sometimes, but you move through it, right? Don't get attached to it. Don't get attached to your suffering, and don't get attached to the highs, man, right? Try and be that even keeled. Know that if you are in a low and it ain't going to last. It might not feel like it sometimes. I've been there, man. Same thing at the top, right? Hell, the COVID crash, the market crash, Top Gun options crushed it. I remember during that time, and then starting the Top Gun Fighter Foundation, then moving on to No Fallen Heroes, doing the medicine work. I remember going, this ain't going to last. Don't be attached to it. Certainly didn't, because now here we are with No Fallen Heroes and putting up the bat signal like, hey, man, this thing doesn't run on hope and unicorns and pixie dust. We need regular Americans to pitch into this fight. And I know this type of low isn't going to last, and I won't get attached to it, and we'll power through, right? So there's a nice happy medium, and there always is. But we have got to put the ladder down to help folks, right? Even if you don't feel like it, man, it comes back to you. I guarantee it. Whiz, I can't help anybody for shit, man. I get it. Do what you can. We talk in the medicine work about cabin depressurization, right? Jump on your JetBlue flight from Fort Lauderdale to JFK. What's the flight attendant tell you? If there's a rapid depressurization, the mask will put your mask on yourself first. You ain't good to anybody else in your row, man, if you ain't good. Put the mask on yourself. Okay? Then we can move on and start helping others. So I get it. So if you need to put the mask on yourself, do it. But when, not if, you get that gift of healing, even a little bit of healing, spread that gift, spread that message, man. Be that beacon. My greatest metric of success, besides getting a text or being on a retreat or just, somebody who we fund, the text, the email, the phone call, Whiz, I don't want to kill myself anymore. Or Whiz, I've never been better. Dude, you can't even, what's that worth? Priceless. It makes all these lows that I skid through sometimes worthwhile. They pull me up. Mouth guard in, chin strap on, right up the fucking middle, Whiz. Keep it going. Failure is not an option. But it is frustrating to read these applications for these healing grants and go, dude, I'm fucking tapped out, man. We need to do a better job in the veteran space of collaborating. And we are. Jesse at Heroic Hearts and Chad, Mental Joe, Justin, and his bride Megan, and Heroic Path to Light. We're all kind of trying to do some good work together. Those people are leading with their heart and their truth. Can't say that for everybody in the veteran space. And it's sad to say. With anything, folks, personalities, money, can't even believe I'm going to say that, but yeah, man, guess what? You would think in the healing space, egos and money and stuff like that wouldn't be an issue, but for some, it kind of is. But the universe, I trust the universe brings people and situations up for a reason, and it also removes people and situations for a reason. And we have to trust, surrender, accept, and trust. And it'll all work out. So if you can, do me a favor, pitch into the fight. It's cool too. You know, I started with the options on future service. I want to tie this back a little bit to finance and how this week it was like one or two comments, but still, that's kind of old me that I'd get a little whatever about it. New me had to clean that up. What am I talking about? Because we did a live trade brief last Thursday, I think it was, where I said, hey, you can learn how to, first of all, you can help save and change lives, but potentially profit. There's some dude, USMC vet or whatever, like the capitalization of, I'm like, okay, here we go. Listen, dude. Until we're all in one big happy commune, taking turns washing dishes and you doing the laundry, banging on your rock down by the creek, money has to provide these healing grants. Healing should be free. It is free. You want to grow some psilocybin, some mushrooms, but here's the world that we currently live in. But folks, if you can, in this space, save and change lives and potentially profit, why wouldn't you? Right? So in that live trade brief a couple weeks ago, I said I would buy these two names with both hands. Didn't tell you to do it. I said, this is what I would do. I don't tell people what to do. I'm the pilot in command of my own airplane, and you're the pilot in command of yours. You sign for your jet every day you wake up. This is my airplane, Whiz. Good. Here's what I'm doing. You want to fly formation? Shit hot. Compass and a tie. Charlie, Mike, Papa, Sierra, compass and a tie. Alpha, Tango, Alpha, India. 24 hours after saying, I'd buy this with both hands. Compass was up 15% in a day. A tie was up 6%. And then go look at their charts. Yahoo Finance, whatever charting you look at, go look at the stock, Compass and a tie in the past month. Tell me if I don't know what I'm doing. So this is a self-licking ice cream cone. This is a win-win-win. You're telling me I could help save and change lives and potentially profit? Duh. Who would have a problem with that? Clearly somebody, there's people who would complain it's not hot enough in hell. I get that. But get over yourself. The No Fallen Heroes Foundation, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, we believe in reciprocity. Any Ibogaine or Iboga retreat, we, the tribe where the medicine comes from, we donate to save or to plant more Iboga or for that tribe to help them out. It's called reciprocity, folks. We practice it. Can't say that for a lot of other folks. I do it that's common sense. That's good manners. That's the way things should be. You're taking from Mother Earth or this tribe, you give back to Mother Earth and this tribe. That's what we do. Takes a long, long time. Growing Iboga, man, it's its own thing, man. The tree of knowledge. I got to get Brian Marescu on this podcast. The guy who wrote the Immortality Key. Just incredible stuff. But folks, it's just interesting that, some folks can sit in the stands and throw rocks at the guy in the arena. Like, really? You're going to have a problem with us potentially profiting off publicly traded psychedelic companies? You must be fun at parties. So, folks, this is coming, right? MAPS, Rick Doblin, MAPS has a nonprofit arm and it has a for-profit arm, right? No Fallen Heroes has a foundation, our IRS, fucking government, man. Again, going from Top Gun Fighter Foundation, Top Gun, little too aviation centric. I'm like, I'm not just going to help aviators. Let's help all veterans and first responders and family members. Let's change the name, the government. No, you just can't change the name of a foundation. You have to close it and reopen one. Took us like 6 months to get the first one approved. Yeah, well, welcome. So we're put our application in for No Fallen Heroes Foundation ages ago, and we're still sitting here marking time. What else are you doing? 87,000 new IRS agents, besides going after any transaction over $600 in this country, we will know about. Nice job voting for that, folks. Did you vote for that? Why don't they audit all the people who voted for the Democrats to come up with 87,000 new IRS employees? Did you see the Republicans tried to pull that out? Lost. I think they were oh, no. Sorry. You ready for this? 85,000. Speaker McCarthy, you're a joke. We got a reduction in the number of IRS from 87,000 to 85. So we could put a little bullet point in the RNC talking points. We reduced the number of IRS agents that Joe Biden added. Fucking idiots. Are you kidding me? You just, anyway. So can potentially make money this Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern. Go.topgunoptions.com/futures. And we're going to talk about how you can potentially profit trading options on futures, different margin requirements, all sorts of cool stuff that once I dug under the hood, I'm like, why haven't I been trading options on futures? I'm going to start. Jeff Tompkins, Altos Capital, and Nell Sloan. Please come, even if you don't want to trade options on futures, to hear Nell's her tragedy and how she found the No Fallen Heroes Foundation and why she wants to support us. Okay, again, Top Gun Options can't make a dime from any of this stuff that I'm talking about, but Nell said, you know what, we can do that. Regulator said, giddy up. We support that. So go.topgunoptions.com/futures and come check it out. Because you can. I ain't going to feel bad about saving and changing lives and trading publicly traded psychedelic companies. Duh. Sit there and wallow in your own judgment. Folks, this is it. This is the next sector. I was going to say cocktail parties. Don't go to too many cocktail parties anymore. Just not a drinker. Can't stand it. But when I used to, went to Blink 182. Incredible time the other night with the family and our friends. We had just such a great group. Loved, and they're better in concert than like recorded. It was weird. But no, people, like, oh, you trade. What's the next hot stock tip? And I'm like, this is it. This is the only next hot stock tip because there's nothing after this. Big Pharma is going to jump in, for better or worse, with their size 12 boots. REITs, large REITs. We're going to have retreat and healing centers. You can't be doing MDMA at your GP's, your general practitioner doctor's office. It needs to be in a big room and a couch and 2 other chairs for the protocol. Folks, the infrastructure is currently being built. Full disclosure, me, Cody, Chandra, and Daniel Carcillo, and a bunch of other folks. We are investors, and it's called Healing REIT. It's the Healing Real Estate Investment Trust, because we're going to build these type of centers around VA hospitals. The infrastructure doesn't exist. So, and you know what I do? Since God said it's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven, you guys, if you don't know me or people that do know me, I take and I throw over the fence, right? So, if you can make money investing in these public psychedelic companies, tithe a little bit, man. Put the ladder down and save and change lives. That's a win, win, win. Okay, this ain't, this is Gordon Gekko with a conscience, or Bobby Axelrod with a conscience, right? From Billions. The episode where he and Wags did ayahuasca and it should have healed them. That's how I know they didn't do it for real, because he's still they were still narcissists, sociopaths, and stuff like that. So anyway, folks, so took you on a little bit of an emotional journey here because it does feel heavy right now. We are at an inflection point, folks, and we're either going to level up or not. And I don't like the or not. I really don't, man. I'm a buy ammo, water, and you know, take care of your family and friends because I don't like where things are going. However, as I do that with one hand, the other hand, I'm doing my best to try and prevent having to need all of that stuff, right? But I'm a fighter pilot. I'm an options trader. I plan for the worst. And if the best happens, I'm pleasantly surprised. I don't plan for the best because if it doesn't happen, now you're depressed and you're shitty. So I'm a two-arm monster here, man. Right hand is ready and to go, but the left hand, man, is trying my best, our best at the No Fallen Heroes Foundation and all the folks that we are aligned with, our strategic partnerships. We're doing our best, folks, but we could use your help. Even if you can't throw a couple shekels at it as a donation, spread the word. The fact that, I again, at Blink and recently at some social events, fundraiser down in Fort Lauderdale for the Compassion Behavioral Health Foundation. And we donated a couple jet rides. Just when I get to speak publicly about these things, I can just see it. I see the smoke kind of coming out of people's ears a little bit in a good way, kind of like when we elect a new pope. I didn't vote for you. So it's a good thing. Even just get the awareness out. Just say, hey, have you heard about this psychedelic medicine stuff and how it could potentially heal? I get text all the time now. I heard about microdosing. Whiz, what is it and how do I do it? And I'm glad to heal that too. Because anybody who says, dude, I think I need a little help and I'd like to heal. Just saying that to the universe and putting it out there, folks, can start you on a better path. So let's end on a high note. I think we are at an inflection point. Means one of two things. You either go up or you go down. So right now is the inflection point, and hopefully in the next 6 to 12 months, when, not if, MDMA is legal for therapeutic use, it's going to be the dam. The dam's going to break, folks, and I hope it's in time to save us because we need some serious help. Do you hear me? You hear me, God? It's Whiz, and we're saying we need some serious help. But he, she, it is there, and everything is fine. It's always fine. I'll see you Thursday at 1 p.m. Go.topgunoptions.com/futures. Come hear how you can help save and change lives and potentially profit. Have a great rest of your day. Happy hunting. Make sure you hedge. Fights on. Namaste and basi basi.